Hey everybody, it's Hansel and I'm back, this time with the Jelly Epoch. We're gonna go over how I built it, what I used to build it, and my overall impressions on the board. But before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you so much for all your support and for all the new people joining the channel. It's growing pretty fast, and even though we're still small, it's just super awesome, and I really appreciate you guys. So I'm gonna do the chill thing and say like, comment, and subscribe if you already haven't. And if you don't, that's fine, but if you do, I really do appreciate you. So now, let's get right into it. So the first thing in our build that we're going to take a look at, other than the PCB, are the stabs. These are Durock V2s. They have been Holee modded. They have been wire balanced. I used Krytox 205G0 for the housing, and I used XHT-BDZ to lube the wires. Now what's interesting is because the PCB is so thin on this board, is that you have to use these little shims to prevent the stabilizers from wobbling. You don't have to do this in every case, and they recommend you test it out, but I didn't want to do that, so I just put them in and, you know, makes things just a little bit easier. Next we have the switches and plate. The plate is an aftermarket plate from Green Door Geeks. It's POM and it's just beautiful. As for the switches, these are called Wicked Inks. These are a Frankenswitch inspired by Sarah from Homogeneo's Discord, and it's basically just a Gateron ink housing with a JWICK stem. The reason that I did this is because sometimes Gateron inks can be a bit inconsistent and scratchy, and this is due to their stems. I thought that maybe if I replaced the stem, that would change. Now, did it work out as planned? There's still some inconsistency, but they're smooth enough, and these switches are also filmed with Deskey films and spring swapped with 65 gram SPRiT springs. Now I also used the plate foam and the PE foam in the build. The PE foam is pretty much necessary if you want to get that signature Jelly Epoch sound. For the plate foam, I did that because I didn't want to have trouble putting in the switches. It's difficult to solder in a flexible plate without some kind of support, and it was just even harder on this board. Usually you could pop in the switches into the plate one by one and insert it all at once, but for this board it just wasn't possible, so I used the plate to make it easy. I'm not saying that it's impossible to do without the plate foam, but it just makes it a whole lot easier. Now after I finished with that soldering nightmare, I decided, let's change out the desk mat to something a little more fire. Not to say that the Brum mat is not a good desk mat, I actually love this desk mat, but the Wave 1 Kono desk mat is just kind of a really nice aesthetic. Once I laid that out, it was time to do the final assembly of the case. This is the Jelly Epoch in Dewdrop. Now, I had thought that this was going to be more of a silver case, but after watching McMerlin's stream, it's definitely green tinted. It's still beautiful, and even though the aesthetics aren't for everybody, like for example, I believe most people would agree that the 7V just looks far better, and even I would agree with that. But honestly, the aesthetics of this board have really come to grow on me, and I'm really enjoying it. Now what's cool about this board is it's a isolation gasket mount, and it uses these special things called jelly gaskets. These are really unique, and Andy Wynn actually goes into this into depth, but basically they allow the Jelly PCB to flex in a very unique way, and it's honestly pretty cool. Now, my biggest gripe with this case is how many screws are used to assemble it. It's so confusing. I had to use like 3 different screw heads. If you thought the GMK Pro had a lot of screws, oh my god. This thing is far more annoying to put together, but it's not difficult, just a little annoying. Next we have the keycaps. This is GMK Froyo. A very simple set, but I find a lot of beauty and simplicity. It's so clean, and the little extra bit of color on the modifiers is just so nice. I love it. Now I know GMK is going through their own little bit of controversy right now, but these are awesome. They feel really good, and I love the sound of GMK modifiers. It's just so nice. Now for the finishing touch, we have a little peeker, because I'm a little bit of a weeb. This is the Love Hashira from Demon Slayer. I don't even know what she does. She's just cute. And I like how it looks. And that, everybody, is my Jelly Epoch build. Let's take a listen. So what are my thoughts on this board? First, I think it's beautiful. I think it is fun to type on. It's so soft, flexible, bouncy. And finally, it sounds amazing. Now, admittedly, the PE foam does carry the sound of this board. It wouldn't sound nearly like this without that PE foam, but now that we know that, other keyboard manufacturers can start implementing that into their own boards. So this board is definitely pushing the envelope. Thank you everybody for watching. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And until next time, peace.